Welcome back to the G87 M2, and to be honest with you, it's a very dirty car at the moment as we've just got back from Goodwood Festival of Speed, but I don't care because our new wheels have arrived and I couldn't wait a minute. I wanted to get these straight on the car, especially with this new set of rubber. So, without further ado, let's tell you what we've got going on the car today. Cool, so these are HRE's FF21's flow formed wheels. That essentially means that they're flow forged, and that means they're a little bit lighter, a little bit stronger than you get from your standard cast alloy wheel. Now these are actually in liquid metal. They also do a tarmac version, which is essentially like a dark satin black or slash grey. The specs for the G80 and G81. Now on the front you have a 9.5 ET8, and on the rear you have a 10.5J ET10. We're going to be wrapping those today in some Yokohama 8009 tyres, which are the new sort of semi-slick tyre from Yokohama. Nathan's been telling me how good they are, and I think they're going to make such a difference to this car. So we're going to be going 285/30/20 on the front and 295/30/20 on the rear. Just to clarify, these are a 20-inch wheel. You're going from a 1920 setup to a 2020 setup essentially, so you're going to square off the wheels. I personally think the 1920 setup doesn't sit quite right with this car. I think going 2020 is going to be the way to go.
Yeah, I think it's definitely going to look a little bit better because the standard, I'll lay a clip over now, the standard arches are pretty big, and this 20 should help.
Definitely.
Nicely.
So design of the wheel, they're kind of a little bit HRE P101s, which is like their classic HRE design wheel, but they've got these more like contemporary elements to them, and it's got quite a nice concave actually for like a series wheel. Normally you don't see this level of concave in a kind of mass-produced wheel, but it's good to see that. Now because this is part of HRE's Flowform series, you actually get a black and silver cap, or if you get the tarmac it'll match, and normally you'd be used to seeing the kind of red, blue, white HRE centre caps, but they're actually reserved for their fully full series, so that's why this cap is this style. But otherwise, get all the HRE branding, and these are a really reasonable price. So these are on the store right now. They're actually for under 3,500 quid, which is a bit of a steal for HRE wheels. We can offer tyres with these packages as well, so we could do the same 8009s, or if you want more traditional Michelin Pilot Sport 4Ss, we can do that as well. But I've done enough talking. The car's sitting down there waiting for these to go on. Let's go and do it, Nate. Something a bit different. We've just had the wheels and tyres done, and now taking the car for a bit of a drive, get some cinematics of the car now it's all sorted, and get a bit of a feel for it. We've got some nice roads actually around where we are, so get a feel for it. Immediately, there's not too much of a difference, to be honest. Like I can't see a night and day difference straight away, but obviously we're going fairly slow at the minute. I think especially with these tyres, it's going to be a case of getting them warmed up a bit as well. As it's quite a soft tyre compound. The main thing is I like the tyre wall. The tyre wall looks a lot nicer.
Oh, it looks nice.
Yeah, it looks thick, and the tyres look really cool from behind as well. But yeah, well, once we get these cars out of the way and press on a bit.
Yeah, once I've actually got them, you see the 8009s that you've got, Jack?
Yeah.
Once I actually get them warm,
yeah,
I can literally go in first gear, rear wheel drive, traction fully off, and just send it.
Yeah, I think
that's with like 650 brake horsepower.
Yeah, I think it's going to be the same here. I don't think that traction light's ever going to come on.
Yeah. Well, it is a little bit.
Yeah, it's a little bit.
It is
like
a little bit damp. But you know another weird thing about them tyres?
Yeah.
They've got an A wet rating.
I know, but if you look at if you do look at the tread, there is a lot of.
There's a lot of venting.
Yeah, yeah.
What they call it.
it.
I'm not sure. But there's a lot of there's a lot of ways to let the water evacuate basically. Going to M1. We're not fully warm yet, so like I said,
a bit slippy.
That was pretty much foot to the floor. Again, no traction there in third. No.
Yeah, it didn't slip at all, did it?
Nah, not at all. I'd actually say there's a bit more tyre feel, like through the steering wheel.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Massive difference. I think where you're running a much wider tyre on the, well, not
On the
much
front.
wider tyre, but you're running a wider tyre on the front.
Yeah.
It drags you around the corners.
Yeah, it does, definitely.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think why, like, let's just say wet weather performance is actually, obviously Michelin Pilot Sports are unreal for wet weather performance. They're renowned for that.
Yeah.
Let's just say these aren't going to be, maybe, they might be 70-80% as good as that. For how are you going to use it, especially in the summer? There's not really there's no downside to changing to these tyres, to be honest. I can only see it being a positive, even coming from the Michelins.
It just depends on how
you drive it.
Wet, I suppose.
Yeah, we'll probably...
Usually semi-slicks are terrible in the rain.
That was foot to the floor, no traction line. That was nuts.
Yeah. It's like four-wheel drive.
Yeah, it doesn't...
Literally, it feels like the M4 extra.
Yeah, it doesn't... That didn't break traction at all. I put my... Obviously, we're on MDM mode, so I didn't actually...
fully off.
Yeah, sort of fully off. But I think it's more interesting because normally you'd have it flashing at you saying, help me.
Yeah. And that's actually, it's raining at the moment. I don't know if you guys can see that.
Yeah, so obviously window wipers are going. It's only drizzling a bit, but it'll probably be a bit greasy soon anyways. We pulled up at a little spot to take a little walk around the car as it sits now, and me and Nath were just saying the silver wheels make the car less aggressive. It looks like more of a classy car now, but I think once the carbon kit goes on it, it's going to reverse all of that and it's going to look really nice and complete. But there's an angle here where you look at the car and you're like, I actually think the tyres have made as much of a difference as the wheels have to the aesthetic, and also it's immediately clear now like it needs to go a bit lower as well. Definitely need to get that sorted as soon as possible. We're holding out because we've got the guys at IBAC coming down to us in a couple of weeks, as we mentioned, to measure up the car for our AUTOID and IBAC collaboration kit, so that should be coming over the next couple of months. But once that's done, we are just going to drop the car temporarily on some Cobra springs because that gives us the adjustability that we want to get the fitment where we need it to be. But yeah, let's have a little walk around the car. What do we think? These look super good with the stud conversion kit as well. So you can obviously see the studs here. They're a bit easier to see on the front because you've got a little bit less concave, but I think it's quite a nice amount of concave. It could maybe have a little bit more if you was going to go fully custom, but the fitment on this is pretty good straight out the box. Maybe a 5mm spacer on the back if you were trying to get it flush. But I think for most people's needs, this is going to be perfect. One thing to note about the front, because the front tyres are a bit wider and because of the offset of these wheels, we do have rubbing on the front tyre when you're in reverse and on full lock, which surprisingly is quite often I've realised. Every time you sort of reverse, you'll feel the tyre rubbing against the inside of the arch. So you can kind of fix that by maybe dropping down a profile, because we've gone up to a 285 on the front now. So if you want to avoid that rubbing, it might be worth just going for a 275 if you're going to go for the exact same setup as this, just to maybe avoid that. To be honest with you, it's going to be a testing process. We don't know if the 275 will also rub, so might be that you need to drop down to a 265. But I think for most people's use cases, that slight bit of rubbing is not going to change sort of the day-to-day use of the car. Finish off on these wheels. We do supply HRE now, so we are one of their dealers, and I would say that these are probably my favourite design that they offer. at the moment in their flow forward range. I like how much it opens up the wheel. The stock wheels have kind of got these additional bits here and you can't really see the brakes, but yeah, with this silver makes the disc a lot more easier to see. They offer the tarmac as well, which is a darker finish than this. I think the silver contrasts quite nicely. It is raining, as you can see, and I did just turn off traction, see if I could floor it down in second, and you do light up the rear straight away. So I mean, that's probably, you probably wouldn't be far off that anyway with the Pilot Sport, so just something to be aware with these tyres. But yeah, shout out to the guys as well at Swift Performance and Yokohama for setting us up with these 8009s. We're super happy with them, and to be honest with you, any of the cars that we're going to be taking on track on the channel, we will be putting these tyres on there now because they're great value for money. They look great, they handle amazing. I've not even really got these up to full temp, but Nathan was telling me in his M4 you can literally floor it like foot down from second, and that's 650 brake at the minute. So yeah, super impressed. I wouldn't consider myself someone interested by tyres, but yeah, these have piqued my interest. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this content that we're putting out for the G87. We've got loads more on the way. Yeah, I think next video is going to be exhaust. We have actually already done some stuff, but we've got some bits coming for it as well, so we can round that off. But yeah, otherwise, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Please do drop us a comment below if you did have any comments, and please subscribe if you haven't done so already.